It was here in Kansas City that police made the connection that has resulted in the hottest lead so far in the Tylenol cyanide case. The link is this man, suspected of writing an extortion letter demanding $1 million for an end to the Chicago area Tylenol killings. A Kansas City police sergeant saw the picture on TV and recognized the man as James Lewis, a Kansas City tax accountant charged in the 1978 murder of one of his clients. The victim, 72-year-old Raymond West, was found in the attic of his home, his legs cut off, his body stuffed in a plastic bag and so badly decomposed that the coroner could not determine the cause of death. Lewis never came to trial because a judge ruled that police failed to advise him of his rights. But the man who was the prosecutor at the time of the case remains convinced that Lewis is the prime suspect.
We had the tax man, Mr. Lewis, aware of Mr. West's financial position, and he had $40,000 or $50,000 in CDs and savings accounts in his bank. And we believe, I was going to suggest to the jury that the motive for this was as a means of obtaining Mr. West's money.
Because of the evidence involving Lewis, dismissal of the murder case was frustrating to Kansas City police.
That happens every day. Every major city in the country has people known to the police walking the streets who have the potential for violence and danger. That seems to be the frustration and the dilemma that American law enforcement is in today.
But the Kansas City murder connection is what caused authorities in Chicago to take a second look at the extortion letter and begin forming a psychological profile of the man who may have written it.
Based on all the psychological profiles we're familiar with, he is apparently a person of high intellect. He is, in talking to our investigators, he's a person who has a great deal of confidence in himself and has a rather bizarre personality. He was able to design some rather elaborate fraud schemes in this area, and it's a kind of a man and Superman type thing. Yeah, he would be the type of person that would fit, as would many others.
The house where James and Leanne Lewis lived in Kansas City is boarded up now. They moved out last December after Lewis was indicted in a land fraud scheme he allegedly operated out of his home. This is where Kansas City police seized the evidence that is now being examined in Chicago. But Lewis left some of his books and papers behind with a neighbor who remembers him well.
Well, he was such a weird person, a weirdo, a hippie. He had long, straggly, long hair way down here, and his beard was always way down here. Now, he's changed his image since he went to Chicago. He was very well groomed. Talked about, he tried to talk above you, so that he'd be a big shot, and he, an educated person and knew all subjects and all about all subjects. And most people didn't like that.
When James and Leanne Lewis lived here, their lives were something of a mystery to their neighbors and business associates in this lower middle-class neighborhood. Now, the mystery continues as a nationwide search for the couple goes on. Terry Anzur, Channel 2 News, Kansas City, Missouri.